So, have you ever thought about what it would be like to have your own personal AI assistant? One that's working for you 24/7 around the clock? Well, in this explainer, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to set up our own AI agent from scratch. We're talking about a project called CloudBot, which, as you'll see, is now called Moltbot. We're going to break this whole thing down into 5 simple stages. First, we'll get a handle on what this agent actually is. Then we'll figure out the best place for it to live. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of installation, connect all the different pieces together, and finally, the fun part, exploring everything you can actually do with it. All right, let's dive right into our first section. Before we start typing commands and getting technical, it's really important to understand what this tool is all about and why having your own personal AI agent is, well, a total game changer. I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. An assistant that doesn't need sleep, never calls in sick, and is always on, ready to get to work on whatever you throw at it. This isn't some far-off sci-fi dream anymore. This is one of the coolest ways you can set up a real, always-on AI agent for yourself, right now. Okay, so here's the core idea. Moltbot is an AI agent that you control. You host it yourself. You connect it to a big brain, a large language model like GPT-4 that does all the heavy lifting and thinking, and then you link it to a chat app. After that, you can just message it to do all sorts of things for you. The analogy of having another employee who's working tirelessly in the background, it's honestly perfect. And get this, it's not some closed-off system. There's a whole community marketplace called Claude Hub. And just to be super clear, this is a community thing, not actually connected to the Claude model from Anthropic. It's a place where people are constantly building and sharing new tools and plugins, which means your agent skills just keep getting better and better over time. Let's keep things moving. We're on to our next section, and this is where we have to make our first big decision. Where is this AI agent of yours actually going to live? Your answer here, whether you run it in the cloud or on your own machine, is really going to shape how you end up using it. So what's really interesting here are the trade-offs, right? On one hand, you could run it on a cloud server, a VPS, that's just a virtual private server, basically your own little computer living in a data center somewhere. It's always on, you can get to it from anywhere, but it's a bit more complicated to set up and you've got a monthly bill. On the other hand, you could just run it on a little machine at home, like a Mac Mini. That's way easier to set up, it's super secure because you own the physical hardware, but it costs more upfront. And hey, if the power goes out, your bot goes down with it. All right, time for the technical part. We're about to open up the terminal and run a few commands. But hey, don't worry, this isn't nearly as scary as it might look. I'm going to walk you through every single step, and really, you can just copy and paste everything. Let's be real for a second. Nobody, and I mean nobody, likes typing out long, complicated commands. It's just annoying, and if you make one little typo, the whole thing can fall apart. So to avoid all that headache, every command we're about to go through is set up so you can just easily copy it. No stress. Okay, we've got 4 main steps. It's pretty straightforward. First, we install something called Homebrew, which is basically an app store for your terminal that makes installing stuff on a Mac super easy. Then we install Node.js, that's the environment where our bot is actually going to run. After that, we grab PNPM, which is just a faster, smarter way to handle all the code packages the bot needs. And finally, we run the command that actually installs Moltbot itself. And hey, here's a little bit of trivia for you. You've probably noticed I keep saying both CloudBot and Moltbot. Well, they're the exact same thing. Turns out, the project had to change its name because the AI company Anthropic thought CloudBot sounded a little too close to their famous model, Claude, which, is a pretty fair point. It's a fun little piece of AI history. Okay, the agent is installed. Now we're moving on to the really, really exciting part. We've basically built the body, and now it's time to plug in the brain and give it a way to talk. This is where we bring our bot to life. First things first, we need to pick its brain, the large language model. You've got options, but for this walkthrough, let's just use OpenAI. It's simple. You'll just go to their website, generate a brand new secret API key, copy it to your clipboard, and then paste it right into the terminal when it asks for it. This little key is what lets your bot actually think. Next up, we gotta decide how we're gonna talk to our bot. Honestly, the strongest recommendation here is to start with Telegram. Why? Mostly because their whole bot system is just incredibly simple and reliable to get going. You just open Telegram, search for a special bot called the Botfather, and follow its instructions to create your new bot. It'll spit out a long string of text called a token. You just paste that token into the terminal, and you are pretty much good to go. So the setup is done. You officially have a working AI agent. Now we get to the big question. what in the world can you do with it? Let's explore some of these seriously cool and powerful ways people are using this thing. And this right here shows you just how wild the possibilities are. You can install skills to let your bot connect to your Apple Notes and give you a summary of your day, or you could have it integrate with your Google Calendar so you can create new events just by sending it a message. You can literally send it a PDF and ask it for the main points. You can set up hooks, which are basically automated triggers for different actions, and you can even manage its memory so it remembers what you talked about before, which makes it feel way, way smarter. But the key thing to take away from all this is that this is just the beginning. That community over on CloudHub, they are building new skills and plugins every single day. The potential of this thing is expanding like crazy. So what your agent can do tomorrow is probably even more mind-blowing than what it can do today. And that pretty much brings us to the end. You now have the full roadmap to create your very own always-on AI employee. This technology is new, it's incredibly powerful, and it is just brimming with potential. So really, the only question left to ask is, what are you going to build with it?